Is all being streamed now. And where did you all go? I lost you. Where? Present. Okay. There we go, like magic. Okay. You still hear me, right? Great. Okay, let's go ahead and warm up. Oh, good, everyone's muted. So we are going to warm up with our usual warm up of Hashki Venu. So start on your C chord. And again, I always like to start by beating the rhythm with my right hand, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, down. Now we're going to go on to G. Here we go. G. G. Down, 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 up. Last time, A minor. 2, 3, 4, F now. 2, 3, 4. Okay, back to C. Here we go. 2 sets. Second set. Now G. G. A minor. F. Now just one set each. C. G. A minor. F. Turn it around. C. G. A minor. And F. Turn it around again. C. G. A minor, and F. Last time, C, G, A minor, and F, and on C. Okay, how did that feel to everyone? Thumbs up, middle, down. Where are we at?
Hey, Daniel, when you say turn it around, just a reminder, do you mean just going up, down, on the F?
Great question. Great question, Amy. What I mean by turn it around, because it can mean, so yes, that's exactly what I meant in this context. But turn it around in sort of musical slang means do something to make it clear that you're starting it back over. So sometimes that's changing your strum like we did, but in the 12-bar blues, we turn it around differently, which is what we'll do in just a moment. And so whatever that looks like, it means just do something to let folks know that we're going to be going back again. So like another option for turn it around would be, so C, D, let me give you a close-up of the frets. C, G, A minor, and F. But one thing that I could do is I could suspend and unsuspend the F. So right, like I can do, and we didn't learn the F suspended last week, though we talked about some of the other ones. And actually the F suspended there is pretty easy. Play your F, and then add in that note down there like you're playing a C chord also. Add it right there on the 3rd fret on your lowest A string. And that's actually, you can hear there technically what a suspended chord means, which means you're suspending a note from either the chord before it into this one, or you're suspending a note from this chord to the next one. So C, G, A minor, F, and suspend it. So that note right there carries through is the idea, and that's what they mean by suspend, like it suspends from one to the next. So again, just all sorts of ways to turn it around. Great question, Amy. That's one of the things we've been talking about the last couple weeks. Okay, other questions?
So when you say that suspend thing, are you always adding? Boy, I'm getting feedback.
Sorry, yeah, I had original sound. I turn on something so you can hear the ukulele better, but then I have to remember to turn it off when other people unmute or we get feedback.
Okay. Does that mean that, like, the way that you added that C and then we went into the C, that's how it's going to work? Like if you did a G suspended and you were going into an E minor or whatever, you would be adding part of the key, whatever, you know, you're adding part of the key from the next chord.
So usually what we mean when we talk about a suspended chord is this either a sus2, meaning you're including the second note in the chord or in the scale, or a sus4, meaning you're including the fourth note. And usually what that means, at least in technical music theory terms, is that the next chord that you play is going to have one of those notes in it.
Thank you.
How people use the term colloquially can be different, right? So we would still, right, like when we're talking about the, right, like the G sus4 and the G sus2, right? They don't actually have to lead to those next chords in order for them to be called that. Right, this is our free-falling little lick that we do. And, right, none of those are leading to another chord because all of those are just staying on the same chords and we're just messing with the suspension there. So technically whether or not that is still music theory-wise a suspension, I'm not entirely sure, but that is how we would describe it regardless. Other questions? Okay, I am tuning up. If you heard my uke a second ago, it was a little out of tune. Okay, let's work on our 12-bar blues. So, just as a reminder, our 12-bar blues is a, here, I'll play the 12-bar blues while we do this, just so we can have the feel. So the 12-bar blues is probably deep in you somewhere because you've heard it so many times. And it's a part of so much of the Western sort of, actually I should say the American music canon. Right, it's really a distinctively American thing that emerges, the blues. So, the idea is we're on the 1 chord, and then the 4 chord, and back to 1 chord. Then we go to the 4 chord, let me see, have you be able to see? And back to the 1 chord. And then go to the 5 chord. And then to the 4 chord, and then to the 1 chord. And then if you want to turn it around here, the turn it around is a real quick 4-5. F, G, F, G, 1. The other thing you can always do with that F, you can slide it up 2 frets. Does that make sense? Because if you're sliding an F up 2 frets, you're turning it into a G. Now we've still got those other 2 open strings that'll ring between them, so it's not a full G. If you wanted it to make a full G, you'd have to do something like that. But it sounds fine. Okay. Yeah, Amy.
Write this down for us, like what the chords are?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up for you right now. Hold on. I have it in another tab. Let me just make this go away. Okay, let's see, share. Okay, this is the 12-bar blues. One more, there we go. So each of those slashes is a count. The numbers up there are the chord numbers. And I know chord numbers are a little confusing, but they're going to be really helpful to us, and that's really going to be the focus of our lesson today, our chord numbers. Yeah, Barb.
Hey, Daniel. Well, I mean, I'm obviously new at this, but I've got the chords, you know, the 4 chords, C, G, A minor, and F. What are the number chords?
Yeah, great. Let's review that. That's really important.
Okay,
So
thanks.
every key that we have, right? So if we're in we've typically been playing things in the key of C, where we're starting with a C chord, right? So if we're in the key of C, then we can go ahead and count out what the numbers are. C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, right? And we can keep going. A is 6, so on and so forth, until we get back to C. So one of the things I really want us to know and to start learning by heart are the 1, 4, 5 minor 6. And the 6 is always going to be a minor. So in the key of C, that's the C, the F, the G, and the A minor, which you'll notice are your Hashkivenu chords, right? C is 1, F is 4, G is 5, A minor is 6. Everyone understand that? Is there anyone confused by that?
That makes sense. Do we know the D chord? Have we learned that? Too?
The D chord.
We need that.
Have we learned the D
You
chord?
said that D is 2. C, D, E, F, G,
Oh,
A.
we're not.
We've learned the D chord,
Okay, I guess I don't know it. All right, thank you.
but we have gone over it. But that's a
But we're not doing the D chord yet. We're not
Okay,
playing
great.
we're not playing the 2 and
Okay,
3 at this
so-
point.
Thanks.
By the way, just so folks know, the 2 and the 3 are usually minor also. The 2, the 3, and the 6 are minor. But for our purposes, again, I want us to really focus in on the 1, 4, 5 minor 6. So we should know in the key of C that it's C, F, G, A minor. And in the key of G, we should know that it's G, C, D, E minor. And so on and so forth. Judy, it looked like you had a question or you were a little confused. You're muted.
This is all not, it's not registering with me. I'm sorry.
Too theoretical. Yeah. So let me explain the why we do numbers, and that might.
The reason why is because I've played classically, and I don't see flats and sharps. I don't see 3/4 time, 4/4 time. This is all garbage to me.
It's a whole new, yeah, exactly. It's a whole new way of thinking musically,
Right.
if you've been trained classically. Exactly. So here's the reason why we do numbers sometimes instead of chords. Numbers let us change the key immediately. Right? Because if the chords down for our 12-bar blues are, if instead of the 1 here it listed C, if instead of the 4 here it listed F, and instead of the 5 it listed G, then we could only play it in that key. But when we start thinking about it in numbers, we realize that we can take the same song and play it in any key in which we know those chord numbers. So in the key of C, the 1, 4, 5 are C, F, G. But we could take this exact same 12-bar blues and play it in a different key, where we start with a G chord, and then we're doing Right? G, C, D is our 1, 4, 5. Because in the key of G, G is 1, A, B, C is 4, D is 5. Did that make some sense? So that's what we're going to be working on today, is we're going to be taking some of the things we know and shifting it to different keys.
Daniel,
Yeah,
can I say something?
please.
Okay, I hate to be a pain in the rear end. However, I think, okay, so my understanding, I don't know, I guess I'm coming from a different place, is that what if we just stuck to chords? What if we just stuck to songs and the chords that play those songs? What would happen to the future of us as a group that plays songs together as a ukulele group?
Can I say something about that? Can I get a stab at that?
What?
Because it's very hard to not know anything about how a key works. And I just want to say one sentence that might help Judy too. If you understand that most songs are made up of this 1, 4, 5, this is just the way they're constructed. It's like if you accept that, that's how they're made. And so it's like understanding the very basics of how the song is put together. And it's really hard to only have one key because it might not be in your voice range. So that if you need to go, you're singing it, you look it up online and it's in C, and you're like, and you're like, I can't even do that. And you want to get to G. If you understand this 1, 4, 5, you are going to be able to translate from C to G really easily.
So basically, whatever the chord that starts with, if it's a C or a G, that has a certain pattern of chords. Is that what you're saying?
D, yeah, you count, and you're going to get to the next chord that you need. So I just want to reiterate, I think it's really totally valuable to learn this.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand where it fits into my understanding of how to play. That's the question.
Don't stress. Don't stress about it also is what I would say. And, you know, the real purpose of trying to teach this right now is to form some of the basic building blocks of ukulele music theory and just song construction, folk song construction theory, so that you can get to a place where you can play a song without necessarily even knowing the chords in it, but can just feel it. And that.
So if I want to play a song that has these numbers in it, and a 1 is a.
You're not ever going to look up a song and it's going to have numbers. That's not what's going to happen. My hope is that for some of us who have a more advanced music theory background, that we can start, or a more advanced, I should say, string theory background, that we can start feeling it and feeling the 1, 4, 5, 6 when we play. And that's the building block to be able to play a song without knowing the chords, right? Like, if there's a song that I know, meaning I know it in my head, even if I've never played it before, as long as it's broadly a folk song, I can usually play it immediately without looking at chords. I can sometimes, I've been in jam sessions where I'm the only guitar player, and I can play songs with chords that I have never heard before just by following along with the person who's singing, because of the knowledge of how the 1, 4, and 5 and minor 6 play together. So again, that's not going to happen tomorrow for you or next week for you or any of that, but it's important, I think, for us to at least get some of these building blocks, even if we don't totally understand them, so that months or years from now, it's waiting for us to pick back up and add another step to it. All of which is to say that, like, don't worry about it if you're totally lost here.
Well, I'm not total lost, but I'm just like trying to figure out, okay, if I want to play in the key of G, let's say, then I have to know what those chords are. G, something, something, whatever. So is the G always considered a 1 in the key of G, and then the next one in the key of G is is what? See, that's what I don't understand the pattern, but
Okay. Yeah. No. That great question.
I want to relate it to something I already know how to do, is what I'm trying to do.
So Daniel, I just put in the chat for everyone. I just wrote A B C D E F G A B C D E F G. That might help direct. Want to explain it, Daniel, more deeply? That might help, just to show them the counting, how that works.
Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 7's usually something a little different. The uppercase are major, the lowercase are minor, the way that you write these things. Does that make sense? So, let's go ahead and do this in the key of C. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor. It's usually a B7 that you'd play there. And that's your order. Because it always goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's how music goes. So, if instead we're in the key of G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor. Usually you play in F7, I guess.
I get it. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. I see how it relates now.
Does that make
That's
sense?
all I needed.
Good.
Yes.
Good. And so that's, you're not going to look up songs that are going to list the numbers, but if you can start feeling the numbers, then whatever key you're playing in, you'll be able to understand what chord probably comes next.
Okay. Can you keep that chart so that we can see, like, that's
Yep.
when I'm practicing, I can see it, or?
Can I say one other thing, Daniel? Can I add
Please,
one more thing?
please.
The other thing I think is helpful about these families of chords, C, D minor, E minor, F, G, is that you then know that there probably in a song there wouldn't be, like in the key of C, there are certain chords that you probably would not run into, and that I think that's helpful.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Let's see. Okay, let's get it so you can see it well. Okay, can you see that? Is that coming through okay?
Is there any way to make it bigger for those of us that can't see very well?
Make it go to gallery view. I mean speaker view.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I can just spotlight myself.
There you
That'll
go.
help.
Here's speaker view. It's big.
Okay, good. That's much better, thank you. That works.
Okay. So, let's go ahead and try to make our way through this. I think this is probably the better view for now. Okay. So, for a 1, and each of those slashes that we have is a beat. So there's 4 beats on it, right? And let's just do a down strum for each of those. C, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to go to, oh, let me mute. There was someone coming through. There we go. I got it. Everyone's been muted. Okay. So, right, just a reminder, let's be clear. C is our 1, F is our 4, G is our 5. So, C, 2, 3, 4. Now go to the F, 2, 3, 4. Back to C, 2, 3, 4. Another set, 3, 4. Now F, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on that 5. The G, 2, 3, 4, the F. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. How did that feel? Did that make sense going through it this way? Okay. Now let's try it with a strum. We're going to do a down, down, up, down, up. I see Amy taking a picture of this right now, but let me do this also. Let me just drop a link in the chat to the one I'm using. And not that this is anything special, but U chord numbers.
Daniel, that was super helpful.
Oh, good. Good, good, good. And here's a link to just the document with those chord numbers, if that helps. Let's make you go back. Why did that weird thing pop up over there? Go away. Okay. Oop. Nope. Good address. There we go. Okay. So now let's try it with some strumming. So let's start just with some down, down, up, down, ups. Down, down, up, down, up. Okay, here we go. We're going to start. 1, F, C, C. Now to the 4, the F, F, F. Back to C. Now to the 5, the G. And now to the 4, the F. And to the 1. And if you want to turn it around, you can go F, G, 1. From the beginning, F, C, C. And to the F, F, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3. Now to the G, the 5, 2, 3, 4, the 4, 2, 3, 4, and the 1. Right? You almost can't even say it without singing a blues song. I feel like I'm like singing blues when I'm saying the words here, right? You can say anything you want to, as long as you say it twice, right? That's how blues work. Now here comes that second 4. You can say anything you want to, as long as you say it twice. We're on the 3rd line, that second one now. Now we're going to the G. When you're singing the blues, you say it twice, you say it nice. Turn it around, F, G. Okay, did that make sense? How are we feeling about this? Let's see thumbs. Okay, I'm gonna take that. That feels like a success story. Mostly thumbs up with some thumbs middle. Okay, now here's what we're gonna do. Is we are going to move this to a different key. Nope, I hit the wrong button. 1 call. There we go. Nope. There we go. Sorry. Okay, so
I
now...
have a question.
Yeah, please.
I have a question. Were you playing 1 and then 1 or 4 and then 1 and then going down to 1, 4, 4? Is that how you were playing that?
Exactly.
Okay.
First line, second line, third line, fourth line. Total of 12 bars, right? Each of these is a bar. First bar, second bar, third bar, fourth,
Okay.
fifth, sixth.
My next question: if I were playing it in the G, in a G, okay, why would it not be G, C, D, and E minor?
No, that is your 1, 4, 5, 6. That's correct.
Oh, well, why is the F7 enlarged there?
Oh, that just is, that's the 7 chord, not the 6 chord. Here's the 6 chord. The E minor is the 6.
Well, where is E?
Your Roman numerals are wrong.
Yeah, your Roman numerals.
No, but
Hold on, what did I
looking
do?
over on the-
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I have an extra I there, don't I? There you go.
So,
Phew!
Bless you.
no, but so E minor was the 6th, right?
E minor is the 6, correct.
Okay, but why is the F7 enlarged?
It's not enlarged. It's just, it was a cap, so it looks big. I was writing it in caps if it's a major, or and in lowercase if it's a minor, is how I was doing it, which is a typical kind of convention.
Oh,
That's all that's happening there. I guess
I
this
see.
this should have been a bigger B. Maybe that would help.
okay.
So Daniel, to make it even clearer, what if you make bold the G, the C, the D, and the E minor?
Yep,
Just-
we can do it just like we did the other ones. Yeah, absolutely. And we don't even need to do the minor because we're not doing the minor chords right now for the 12-bar blues. 12-bar blues is just the 1, 4, 5. Okay,
Okay.
so now we are going to switch this to a different key. We're going to play this in G instead. So we're going to need the D chord on the ukulele. I think that's going to be our new chord that we're less than familiar with. Uke D chord. We learned this last week, I believe. Okay, is that too small to be useful for people, or can you see that okay? So the D chord is all 3 of those on the 2nd fret. For you guitar players out there, this is the same shape as your A chord. So if you can, I highly recommend doing it with your 1st, your 2nd, your 3rd finger, remembering to have that thumb wrapped around the top. But if that's really hard, you can use 1 finger to cover all of them. Whatever finger works for you. But it's always preferable to do it with the 3 fingers because it gives you all of your suspended chords available. Okay, how does that D chord feel for us? Let's see some fingers. Sort of-ish? Great, we'll take it. So, for our 12-bar blues in G, let's just go over this. G is our 1. C is our 4. And D is going to be our 5. So this is going to feel a little different because we are really used to, whether we realize it or not, we're used to that C chord being home, right? Meaning the 1 chord. We're used to it being home. And so you're going to feel like you want to go home and you're going to want to play that C. But instead our G chord is going to be our home here. So let's just try it with simple strums through the 12-bar blues. And for the 2nd bar of 12-bar blues, we always play the 4 chord. We don't play the 1. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the C for our 4 chord. And back to the G chord. Now we're on the second line. 2. Here comes the 4 chord, the C. Another C. Now we're about to be on the third line, back to the G, our 1 chord. Okay, here comes the D, our 5 chord. D. And to the C, our 4 chord. And to the G, our 1 chord. And for that last one, for now, we can just stay on the 1 chord. Okay, how did that feel? Good. Let's try it with our strum. Ready? So first, we just start with a few strums, a few measures, a few bars of the G chord. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. Here we go. G, C, back to G. And now we go to C, C, back to G, G, here comes D, D, C, and back to G. C, we're on the third bar now of the first line, the fourth bar. And I switched keys, didn't I? Do you see that? I just fell right back in to the wrong key. It happens. Okay. Take it from the top. G. Here we go. G. C. And G. Now we're at the first bar. Here we go with the C. Our 4 chord. Now back to the 1. Our G. Now to our 5, our D, 5, C, G. And now the turnaround here is just a quick 4-5. So if you want to do that, 4-5, C, D, back to G. But you don't have to do that. You can also just play the 1 or the 5. Okay, here we go. We're going to start again. 1, 4, 1, and to the 4, and to the 1. Here comes the D, D, C, and back to G. And turn it around if you want. C, D. Okay. How'd that feel? Yeah? Ish? Good? Can you feel the chord changes? Right? Do you get what I mean by feel it? Like you feel when it's coming? Some of us, yes. Some of us, no. It's really one of those core progressions, core feelings of the American music, all of Americana, I would say. Blues. It's built into jazz. It's built into rock. It's built into country. It's built into almost anything you listen to. You'll hear the 12-bar blues. And now that you know it, you'll start hearing it like in radio tunes, and you'll be like, oh, that's like a 12-bar blues with a little different thing going on. And that happens too. Okay, thoughts, questions, ideas. We've been getting into a lot more music theory in these last few weeks because we've hit a more advanced point. Yeah, Rennie.
Yeah, I really appreciate the charts and the explanation. Majorly helpful.
Good. Majorly
helpful. I feel like I can feel it. So thank you.
Good.
And Linda too, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. That was really helpful. Yeah, go ahead, Linda.
Can you just play that little zippity-doo-dah thing that you did at the end?
The turnaround?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the...
And can you just say you chose numbers blank and blank to do your turnaround?
So the
4 and 5? Which
Yeah. The turnaround for the turnaround for blues is always 4-5, And in fact, in a lot of folk songs, you can do a 4/5 as a turnaround, a quick 4/5. So let's keep it in this key of G here, right? So in the key of G, our 4/5 is going to be our C D, right? So Linda, I'm just going to mute you. There we go. So in fact, right? Remember, I called it a turnaround, meaning it's an audible cue for everyone else that we're about to go back to the beginning. So I want you to hear how I use it, right? I don't even need to tell you when we're gonna start playing together because here we go, right? Did you hear that? Did you feel that, right? There's something about that lets us know now we're starting. Did that make sense, Linda? So if we go back to the key of C.
Danny,
Yeah.
Danny, how did you do it?
What do you mean, how did I do it?
Did you do it with the same strum or a different strum?
Oh, the strum. Got it. You can do whatever you want. I usually, for a turnaround, will abandon whatever strum I'm in and just kind of strum at it. But you can keep it in the same strum too, right? Down, let me go back to the G. Down, down, up, down, up, down. Here we go with the turnaround. Da da da. I don't know what strum it is other than da da da. Down, up, down, I guess is what it is.
Okay.
Down, up, down. Right? So if we go back to the key of C again for a moment, our 4/5 are going to be the F, G, right? So that'll be our turnaround. Did that make sense? Okay, so our homework for this week is going to be to practice the 12-bar blues in both of these keys, in the key of C and in the key of G, until you can play it without thinking. That's the goal here, is to be able to play this totally without thinking. So for those of us who are a little more advanced, or those of us who remember some of the 7th chords that we worked on last week, 2 weeks ago, I don't remember exactly when it was, the 12-bar blues is the perfect spot to start playing around with all of those little flourishes, right? So I can go C, F, C, right? And I suspended that F there. Now I'll go to a C7, F, and I'll go to a F7. Where's that? C7. Now I'll go to the G, and I might go to the G7 and back to the C. So you can play with those 7th chords, but you can also play with your suspensions. So, right? C, F, C, F, C. And then when we get to that G, F. So all of those little flourishes, that's what I want us to work on this week, is get those 12-bar blues down so that they are deep in your soul, so that your people you live with or the neighbors near you are going insane because they can't get it out of their head because you keep playing it. And then start practicing flourishes when you can do that comfortably. Whether you're playing around with those suspensions that we've done, or if you want to start messing around with 7th chords. And a 7th chord, by the way, if we talk about a major chord as being happy, here's our G major. If we talk about a minor chord as being sad, a 7th chord we talk about as being bluesy. So 7th chords are really appropriate for blues songs, in particular 12-bar blues. Yeah, Amy.
You read me. When we first started today, you were playing the 12-bar blues with a fun syncopated strum. Can you teach teach us a fun strum to do with it? A new strum to work on with it?
Yes, let's do that. You may have noticed I haven't like taught any real strum other than down, down, up, up, right? That's the only one we focused on because that's truthfully the only strum that is like a strum that I have. Everything else is basically just figuring out the right feel and making it up as you go. So as a reminder, the real, oh, no, let's go to this view. There we go. The real magic of strumming is that your wrist is always going down and up in beat. That you're not going down, down, up, down, right? That you're not kind of only trying to do those and going back and forth quickly to get to the right spot. That your wrist is always smooth in beat so that it's up and down as a metronome. And just as a reminder, our practice for that, if you're having trouble with that, is to start by singing, playing all the downs and the ups. So that your wrist is in rhythm and playing it, and then start saying it. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, right? Say it, but keep strumming all of them, and then you can go into only playing down, down, up, down, up. But remember that the only difference is when you actually touch the strings. Your wrist is going up and down, but it's just like a record needle. It only goes in and out on the times when you want to actually hear it. Did that make sense? Okay, so let's figure out what kind of rhythm I was doing there. We're going to play it in C because that's our most comfortable. And as always, remember that if you are working on something new, have everything else be things that are easier. So don't start working on a new strum in a key that you're not as familiar with, right? So we wouldn't start on our new strum in the G key, we would start on our new strum in the C key, and then once we can do it in C, we'll transfer it over to G, which is our newer key. Did that make sense, what I just said? Okay. Down, up, down. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Down, up, down. So it's a down, up, down. It's a down, up, what is it? Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, up. That is the muted, and the mute is always on a downstroke. Just as a reminder, your goal is to have your palm hit that part. Maybe that's a better view. Get rid of some of that shadow. Where your finger's going at the same time as your palm. So it can even be a little before your palm is fine. You can like... so it is a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, and let's try playing that with this. So first, let's just start getting the rhythm. Down, up, 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 down, up. Here we go. Down, up, F, up, C, down, up, F, up, down, up, C, up, down, up, D, up, C, F, G, C, ch, up, ch, F, ch, up, ch, C, ch, up, ch, C, ch, up, ch, F, ch, up, ch, F, ch, up, ch, C, ch, up, ch, C, ch, up, ch, G, ch, up, ch, F, ch, up, ch, back to C, and then you turn it around with a little F, F, G, and a C. Okay. Thoughts, questions?
Were you always doing down, up, up? Was that the whole thing that you were doing?
Except during the turnarounds, but yeah. And actually, I think what I was doing is down, up, up, up. I was doing that last up also.
Oh, there's 3 ups there?
Down, up, 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 down, up, 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 down, up, up. Yep. So
there's
down, up, up, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, up, down, up, up. Other questions? Last thoughts? Okay. I hope you all can feel that we're really, like, even in the content of what we are doing, we are getting into more advanced things. Right? And that's why we're needing the music theory. That's why we're having to spend so much time on that, so that we can work these things in a way that makes sense, so that you can start to know, so you can feel. Right? The goal with all of these things is to know something to the point where you don't have to know it anymore, where your hands and your soul know it. Right? Where you know the next chord, or you know that, like, hey, I'm gonna play a 7th chord instead of the regular D, a D7 instead of the regular D, because I can feel that this is a place where a little bluesy is gonna sound good. Or hey, I'm on this G chord for a while, let's mess around with a suspension back and forth, right? Almost any time you hit a G, you can usually work in right? In fact, you can do that as a turnaround. F, C, C, F, F, C, C. Now G. Right? You see what I was doing with that suspending? F, C, and now I go back to the G. And I just played with the suspension back and forth as my turnaround instead. And remember, a turnaround can be anything that lets people know that you're about to go back to the beginning. You can do that with suspensions. You can do that with the 7th chord. You can do that by throwing in the 4/5. You can do that. And again, at this point, I'm not expecting you that you will know that. But as we start putting these labels on things, as we start talking about them as turnarounds, you'll start feeling it. And you'll start having some turnarounds that you can lean on whenever you get to them. And then you can put that into whatever song you're doing. Right? Like in Hashki Venu, you start doing a turnaround. In anything that you're playing, you start doing it. And then you get to the point where you're not even doing it on purpose. Just when you get to the end of a phrase, you start musically playing it a little differently that represents the end of the phrase just because you feel it. And that's the goal with all of this. Okay. Yeah, Linda.
Just want to say thank you for clearing up some of the mysteries of the musical universe for me.
Well, this is great for me because I play more ukulele now than I have the rest of my life. You all are, like, I am at the end of my ukulele whatever's here. I'm well past my ukulele-ness here. So I hope that I'm giving good technique and form because I'm basically teaching guitar on ukulele at this point. Yeah, I think it's working.
I was just gonna say that some of us got together last Sunday at 3, and it was incredible to play together, like to feel what that felt like. And so I'm offering again this Sunday at 3 on my porch. Anybody that can come, Daniel, love to have you. I know you.
I would love to be there. We have our Good Trouble Gang retreat this week, which is a roving band of teen social media interns that we've hired.
Okay.
But actually, speaking of that, you all can be like literally the first, except for the Talmud people. So I guess Sean knows. To know that we have officially on the books the first in-person CRC event since Purim. So it's going to be Lag BaOmer, which is, I believe, Thursday the 29th. It's going to be at 8 o'clock. It's a bonfire outside. It will be streamed, and we are limiting in person to 25 folks. However, I feel like we should give preferential reservation option to ukulele people because Lag BaOmer is all about music around a bonfire. So if any of you would like to be a part of Lag BaOmer bonfire, will you email Alana at centralreform.org, ELANA, tell her that you're in the ukulele group and that I said you should get preferential sign up so that you can be a part of the event.
Daniel, could you come up with like 3 songs that we should learn, like that would be appropriate for a Lag BaOmer
Totally.
thing that we might work on next week with you, or
Totally, absolutely.
or I could work on Sunday. So I'm offering again, anybody to please email me if you want to come to my house. I live in Clayton, Sunday at 3. And if we know those songs, we'll start working.
Oh, I have to go. It's past 1, everyone. I'm sorry.
Okay.